I want to talk about the way that I used to think. All right, the way that I used to think. So let's go way back. So those of you guys that know my story know a little bit about this, but I was born and raised in a family where I didn't meet my dad until I was 26 years old. And so when I was younger, there was a lot of things that I had to do in my life where I had to figure it out on my own. Like just going back all the way back, like I never had somebody to teach me how to shave my face. Like I didn't know like how to go through puberty properly. That's like me being honest. Like I had to figure all these things out on my own. Like I had different stepfathers and like different roles in my life, but when I was younger, like I didn't really have a lot of respect for authority because like me and my parents didn't really have a good relationship. Like me and my mom were like decently okay, but like there was a bunch of different stepfathers in my life that I didn't really trust. So for me, I like learned that I need to do shit on my own. When I was younger, I learned that I need to figure it out on my own. When I was younger, I learned that like I can only count on myself. When I was younger, I learned that like I'm the one that needs to get myself through life. Like I need to count on myself. I need to get myself I need to get life from myself. So I took this mindset all the way into adulthood. And like, don't get me wrong. Like when I was younger, having this mindset of like wanting to do it myself and wanting to figure out life for myself, I think it made me very independent. And it made me like, I think all of us, if you're an entrepreneur, I think you kind of feel this, like, I don't want to have to fucking count on anybody. Like, I don't want to have to rely on anybody. I want to be able to I want to be able to like tackle life myself and not be like at the whims of somebody else's authority. I think that's what makes us entrepreneurs. But this mindset was also causing me to lose in a lot of areas of my life because I was so committed to doing it myself, and my ego was so committed to wanting to figure it out all on my own that I basically would never ask for help ever. And even if I needed help, like even if I wasn't doing something right, I would never reach out and I would never admit that I was wrong. And so I was so committed to doing it myself that I ended up basically losing a lot. So let's take this way back to when I was competing, because this all started back when I was doing fitness competitions. When I first started doing fitness competitions, I literally decided that I was never, ever going to hire a coach. I was like, I'm going to go pro as a fitness model and I'm never going to hire a coach ever. Like I'm going to go pro and I'm going to do it myself. And when I go pro, I'm going to, tell everyone that I did it myself. And it's going to be this like big inspirational story. Like I'm just going to do this on my own. So I entered this fitness competition, trained myself for it. I didn't know how to pose, so I didn't have any posing experience or anything like that. Entered this fitness competition and I ended up getting 7th out of 12 athletes. So I was like, all right, 7th is pretty good. At the next show, I'm going to win and I'm not going to hire a coach. I'm going to do it all on my own. Like I'm going to figure this out. So I enter my second competition. I get all ready. By the way, when I entered my second competition, I was also super cocky and I was like, I'm going to win this whole show. Like I'm going to take home the trophy. It was like for my second fitness competition, I flew all the way to Australia to compete against people that were in Australia. Turns out people that are in Australia are on a completely another level of fitness. So when I went to Australia and I told all my Canadian friends that I was going to win, I actually ended up placing last at that show, literally dead last out of 40 athletes. And I came back to Canada just super fucking humbled. I was like, okay, like not nearly as good as I thought I was. So I took about like 8 months to 12 months off of competing and I just kind of like worked on my physique. And I entered my third competition. And by the time I entered my third competition, I was like, okay, like I'm going to fucking win this show. I'm going to do it. I'm not going to hire a coach. I'm going to win. But this time I went all out, like never skipping cardio, never skipping posing, like doing everything that I possibly could, going all in. And I ended up placing second. So after 3 fitness competitions and refusing to hire a coach over and over and over again, ended up placing second. And at that point, like once I had basically given my absolute all to this mission and like deciding that I wanted to win so bad, and I was trying so hard and I just wanted this win. And I was also unwilling to ask for help. So after placing second and going all fucking in, I realized finally after 3 losses, I was like, I need to hire a fucking coach. Like I need to hire a coach finally, because I needed to decide if it was more important to win the show or if it was more important to do it on my own. Because like for me, like yes, it's really cool to be able to like hold up this big fucking sign that's like, I did it myself. Like, I think everybody wants that. Everybody wants to hold up this sign that says like, I did it myself. Like, I'm the best, right? Everybody wants that like feeling of like, oh, I'm self-made. But sometimes, guys, like, if you keep doing the same shit over and over and over again, and you keep getting the same results, that means that you're doing something wrong. That means that you're doing something wrong. Guys, this sort of mindset where I was like, I'm so committed to doing it myself and I'm so committed to never asking for help is the reason that it took me 4 fitness competitions before I won first place. Because I was so stubborn to think that I didn't need a coach and that I didn't need feedback. And it's so funny because as an I was an online fitness coach at the time. So I was an online fitness coach that was asking other people to pay me money, but I was unwilling to take money out of my own pocket to hire a coach because I was so committed to telling myself that I was going to figure this out on my own. My ego was so committed to being smart, talented, and making it without ever asking for any help. Online coaches, I have a question for you guys. I have a dead ass serious question. How many of you guys have been thinking about this idea of building your online fitness business all on your own without asking for help? How many of you guys? I have another question for those of you guys that are in the academy. Those of you guys that are in the 10K Coaching Academy, how many of you struggle and try to figure something out on your own before and like realize it's like you're struggling to figure something out on your own, but you feel like you don't want to ask the academy for help, or you feel like you don't want to reach out for support or ask for help, and you just try to figure it out on your own? Like right now, I actually have so many online fitness coaches who will reach out to me now and say like, man, like I was going to take action on your program like a year ago and I thought I could do it myself. And like, now I realize after a year, I'm like seeing all your students' results, like I do want some help. And guys, like first of all, honestly, I fucking love that because it's never too late to ask for help, and it's never too late to reach out to a mentor, and it's never too late to admit that you don't know as much as you thought that you did. But I can personally attest to this, online fitness coach, because I did it it took me 4 fitness competitions before I finally realized that I needed to hire a mentor. It took me 4 times before I finally realized that I needed to reach out and ask for help. Now, for me, I think it's really important to like organize your priorities, right? Because as online fitness coaches, obviously, most of us are entrepreneurs. We want to be full-time entrepreneurs. We need to organize our priorities, right? And so our priorities are this. On one side of the equation, we've got this like, I'm going to figure this shit out on my own, and I don't need any help. I got this. And if that's the most important thing for you, then keep doing what you're doing. Now, on the other side of the equation, we have this. I want to get this shit right, and I don't care how I get it right. I just want to get it right. Now, if you want to get it right, and you don't care whether or not you do it on your own, that's where it's important to reach out and ask for help. Because I think that sometimes we can have these ideas existing at the same time in our minds. Like one of the ideas is like, I'm fucking going to do this on my own. And the other idea is that like, I want to get this right. So sometimes we have both of these ideas existing inside of our minds, but then I'm so committed to doing this on my own is the one that kind of takes precedence for most online coaches. And I think it's funny because for me, even when I was training for my fitness competition, I used to say things to myself, like, I don't want to waste money on hiring a mentor. I'm like, I don't want to waste money on hiring a coach to train me for my fitness competition. And guys, the coach that I trained that, helped me win my show, by the way, was the most expensive personal trainer in Calgary. It cost me like $4,000 for a 12-week prep to see him 3 times a week. $4,000. $4,000. That's a lot of fucking money. But for me, I was so committed to the outcome of winning my show that at some point I realized that I was willing to do whatever it took to get me to that outcome. And if doing whatever it took meant taking $4,000 out of my bank account and paying this mentor to win that show, then I was willing to pay that fucking price because I wanted to win. Like winning for me was the most important thing. And so winning for me was the most important thing. And guys, that show that I did end up winning, like that $4,000 that I paid for that mentor to help me win that show, set the tone for the rest of my life because it taught me how to win. And I never would have, guys, I wouldn't be here on this podcast if I didn't reach out to my first mentor and ask for help. Now, there's a couple lessons here, all right? Now, the first lesson is this. Like for those of you guys that are online fitness coaches that like maybe you devalue you devalue how much your program's actually worth. I want you to think about something. I invested $4,000 that I didn't have in a mentor to get me the result that I wanted to get. And it was one of the decisions that changed my life forever. So for you guys that are like questioning your program, you're like, oh man, like my program is like $1,000 for 12 weeks. I don't know it's worth it. I don't know if it's worth it. If you can take somebody into your program and fucking completely change their life and give them 20 pounds down, more confidence, more happiness than they've ever had in their life because they love the person that they see in the mirror, you're going to change their life for the rest of their life. So that's the first lesson, right? Is your program is worth it 100%. And like when you get people to join your program, like you're going to completely change their life. Number two, the second lesson is this. Online fitness coach, if you've been trying to get your fitness business to $10,000 a month and you haven't been succeeding on your own, even getting to like 2,000, 3,000 or 5,000, how many losses are you willing to take before you finally reach out and ask somebody for help? And that somebody could be me. It could be another mentor. It doesn't matter because this conversation isn't about who you hire. It's about hiring somebody. Like you cannot be an online fitness coach who is asking other people to pay you money for mentorship without being willing to invest in mentorship on some level. You've got to be willing to invest. You've got to be willing to take money out of your own pocket and pay somebody else for mentorship on some level. Whether that be you hire a fitness coach to help you get in the best shape of your life, whether that be you hire a business coach to help you get in shape or to help you build your business, whether that be you put your ass in therapy and you pay a therapist every single week so that you keep your mindset on track so you can build your business even further than you're building it right now. But you have to be willing to invest if you expect people to invest in you. Doing it myself is the reason that I was losing because I was so committed to doing it myself. And we're going to go a layer fucking deeper, as Melanie Thomas likes to say, one of my clients. She always makes fun of me. We're going to go a layer deeper. And online fitness coaches, I want you to know this. You attract what you are, period. So if you're an online coach right now that refuses to spend money on a mentor because you think you can do it on your own, you're going to attract clients that do the exact same thing to you. And the clients that you attract, they're going to ask you questions and they're going to be kind of interested in your program. And then when it comes down to the investment, they're like, that's great, but I'm going to try to figure this out on my own. And the reason you're attracting those type of clients is because that's the type of person that you are. You attract what you are. And so once you become willing to invest in another mentor and willing to ask for help and willing to reach out for guidance, you will attract people who are also willing to do the same thing because you attract who you are. You attract who you are. You attract what you are. So online fitness coaches, don't make the same mistake that I did multiple times before I finally got it right. Because if I can, like, I'm a big person. Like, I don't really believe in regrets. Like, I'm not like, oh, I regret these X, Y, Z things. But if I could go back in time and talk to myself at 18 years old, literally what I'd say, and this is funny because I'm actually doing a lot of like, one of the things I want to get into is mentoring youth. I'm starting to do it on like different levels. Like on Thursday, there was a kid that reached out to me from Instagram and he's like, hey man, I'm 16 years old. And like me and my 6 friends get together every week and we have like a business meeting and we were wondering if you could come in. And I was like, fuck yeah, I'm totally in. But so I went and talked to these kids and I said the same thing that I'm going to say to you guys right now is like find somebody who's doing what you want to do and learn from them as much as you possibly can, absorb as much of their content as you possibly can, and get as close to them as you possibly can. So if I could go back to myself at 18 years old and have a conversation with myself, I would say, find a fucking mentor, like immediately, period. Find somebody who's doing what you want to do and learn from them as much as you possibly can. All right. Doing it myself was the reason I was losing. So don't make that mistake, online fitness coach. You attract what you are. So be willing to reach out and ask for help.